welcome to the very first episode of my very first podcast. Yes, I'm so excited about it. This morning on the shower, I put the shower cream in my hair because I was thinking about my podcast. But let me first introduce myself. My name is Mariette. I live in Rotterdam and I'm an archivist. I'm a mother, a wife, a mother. Our son is 7 years old, almost 8. He has Down syndrome and he's a great child. I'm a wool lover. I'm a knitter. I'm a collector of yarn. You see it over there. That's only a part of my yarn collection, my stash. And I'm a collector of books about knitting. They are behind me. And many patterns for knitting. If you will go to my Ravelry profile, you will see how much patterns I have, and it's a really huge amount. I also collect vintage knitting patterns, and I will show you in this podcast a part of my collection. What is my podcast about? My podcast is about knitting, of course. What I'm knitting now, my work in progress, WIP, my finished object, but also about wool or yarn. I will take one yarn in the picture, and also about my favorite patterns, and I will show you few vintage patterns that I have that I own. English is not my mother language. I hope it's no problem for you because sometimes I have to think about what's the English word or so, but maybe it will be alright. So Today I first want to thank people who helped me and who helped me to start this podcast, because I was hesitating about it. In the first place, it's my husband who helps me also with editing. His name is Jeroen. Thank you, Jeroen. And some other podcasters. Dancing Geek, James is his real name, who I met at Yarndale a few weeks ago, and I talked with him about starting a podcast. Someone of my local Stitch and Bits group, it's Suzanne, who has a podcast Knitting in the City. She started, I think, this summer, and she has many subscriptions and followers now. And also the Shiny Bees podcast, I forgot her real name, because last time she told about the conference where she was, because she won the award of British podcast, best British podcast. And on the conference there were a few tips she shared with us, and that also made me decide to start my podcast. So yeah, I was at Yarndale and I enjoyed it very much. It was my second time. Yarndale is a festival of creativity, and it was held in Skipton in Great Britain, in Yorkshire. And there is, you can buy yarn of course, but also meet other people, other yarny people. And it was held this time for the third time. And when it was on the first time, I was also there. I came all the way from Holland because I read about it on the internet and I thought I want to be there. So it was really great the first time, and now this year I could go again, and so again I took a plane from Schiphol airport and I went 2 days to Yarndale, and especially the Saturday was a great day to meet other people, other podcasters or bloggers or someone who I follow on Instagram, and also talk about yarn, about love for yarn, about sharing, and about knitting, about patterns, and maybe how to publish it. I had 2 very great days and I bought a lot of yarn. So I think I will, every episode, I will take one of the yarns I have bought there to get in the picture. So today, what's my work in progress? I first show you the bag because I love it really. It's from Better Mew. Better Mew is a local yarn shop in Leeds, and they produce their own yarn. I will tell afterwards about it, but also they made this kind of project bags. I also have another and I really like it. So what's in my project bag? I will show you my work in progress. I'm knitting a sweater. This is one of the sleeves, and the pattern is from Vogue Knitting, the last one, from fall 2015, and it's pattern number 2, Raglan pullover. How do you say it in English? Raglan pullover. I don't know. And I knit it in the yarn from Better Mew, Dovestone DK. Afterwards I will tell more about the yarn because this yarn is today's yarn in the picture. I began the sweater with knitting the sleeves because I went to Yarndale and I wanted not so big project to take with me. So one of the sleeves was almost finished, and the other one I knitted almost at my days in England. So you can see here. Can you see it? Yes, a bit. This is the end of the sleeve, in where you put it with your hands on, and you will see I have here a little triangle. It's double seat stitch. In the pattern, says you have to make all this in until here in double seat stitch. But when I looked to the photo of the pattern, I first thought there was a triangle, and then I went to the description, and then I found out it was a whole section of double seat stitch. But I really liked the triangle, so I made the triangle of double seat stitch. And then in the pattern says that of the top of the sleeve here where the raglan comes. You also make some part of it in the uppermost part of it in double seed stitch. So this is how I did it. Here are some stitches on the stitch holder, because at the end I will join them together. The designer of this sweater is Sarah Hatton, and the pattern calls for a Rowan yarn, but I have bought this yarn in my local yarn shop. My local yarn shop is here in Rotterdam, is Yarndale from Saskia. And this is the new Davestone yarn from Baram U. Here I have a skein of it still, and I hope you can see. So this is nice. You can see about it. I think it's lovely. It is made from Wensleydale Masham and Blue-Faced Leicester. It's a blend, and it's really, I think it's soft. It's not soft as merino is soft, but it's soft and woolly at the same time. And I really like the feel of it. You can see it has two strands, and it's you can feel the twist very well. And when I bought my first skein and I wanted to knit with it, I have wound it by hand because I wanted the great feeling of this yarn as much as I can. So it comes in really beautiful colors. And at first I swatched it because I wanted to know what this yarn wants to be. The recommended needle size is 4 to 4.5, 4.5 millimeter needles. At first I used my 4.5 millimeter needles, and I made this swatch. I'm a loose knitter, and I tried the double rib, 2 knit to purl to, and the stockinette and seed stitch. And I washed it and blocked it, and it's really soft. I have worn it under my t-shirt to test if I like it next to skin, and really I like it. It's so squishy and woolly and soft, and oh, it's wow. So and then I made another swatch, but now I'm looking for it, where it is. Yeah, it's still in the bag. You can see it's much more little, is that the word? Yeah, I think so, than the other. This is the one I showed you, and this is the other one. This one I knitted with 4 millimeter needles, but they were the new Nova Cubics needles from Knit Pro. They are square. I don't like to knit with it because it's not. I don't like the feeling of the squares in my hands. But I knitted very tight with it, and the stitches are really even. And this is the gauge they recommend, but I had already read in a blog of I think her name is blog name is my blog name is My Life in Knitwear, and her name on Instagram is Knittingtastic, I think. And she had written about the yarn, and she said you can do the recommended gauge, so, just like this. It's 22 stitches on 4 inches or 10 centimeters. Or you can go for a much wider gauge, and I have done this, and I really like this more. It's drapey and open, but also more woolly, and I thought I want to wear a sweater with this. So I'm knitting my sweater, my garment, with the 4.5 millimeter needles. It's the standard of Knit Pro, with the colored bamboo needle tips, these ones. And I really love how the fabric feels now, and also the colors of the yarn. The Mesham is a dark brown sheep, and it adds much depth to the color, and it was really difficult to choose which color I wanted, but well, I took the red one, and I'm glad with it. So that's my all about my work in progress and the yarn in the picture. So I want to show you my finished object. I'm really proud of it because I designed it myself. I looked for a pattern like this, where a cape is here smaller than on the bottom, and I never found what I exactly wanted, so I designed it myself. I used the cable from a stationery, and after a few after I draw something, and I knitted a swatch and another, and so I designed this cape. It's from Artesano Linen Silk, and it's the yarn, and I really like how the cables come from it, and also it's not exactly a solid color, but semi-solid. I made increase or decrease. I always change that things around. I made the cable narrower. You can see it here. So here are 4 strands, and here are the 2, and here's only one of them. And I made a color to it, but you can wear it on very different ways, just like this. Hey, what's the matter with the button? Yeah, so you can wear it open, like this. You can wear it open like this. You can close all the buttons, and in a symmetrical way, just like this, only 2 of them, and or all the buttons. And when you're really cold, then you can put the collar inside, and then you have a kind of cowl or a turtleneck here on the upper side. My favorite way to wear it is asymmetrical. First I did it on accident, but someone said, oh, that's nice, you have to wear it so now the asymmetrical way is on purpose. I was at Yarndale wearing this cape, and I was really proud of it, and so many people made compliments about it. Thank you very much. Also totally strangers, and some said, oh, you have to publish the design. Maybe I will do it in the future, but now I think I will give my time to make my podcast. I have a job and a family, so me time is really scarce, and I now want to take it to the podcast. But I think I will knit it again in another yarn with less linen and silk in it. This one, artisanal linen silk, is a blend of wool and silk and linen. Here I have the, the paper that goes with the yarn, and it is 40% wool, 35% silk and 25% linen. And the linen and silk gives a really good drape and shine, but also it's a bit growing, so I want to test how this cape will be in a yarn that's has more wool in it and less silk and no linen. I really love capes. In the summer I wear it when I'm going on bicycle outside. I wear them at my job, I wear them at home, and yeah, they're really warm. And also because my figure is what Amy Herzog calls bottom heavy, I like to have something around my shoulders what gets the attention. And that's also what I like in sweaters. I can really recommend the book of Amy Herzog, Knit to Flatter, where she explains more about what kind of shape you have and what kind of knitwear will fit you and look good on you. The next section of my podcast is my new favorite patterns. I spent much too much time on Ravelry to look for new patterns and to see what other designers have published new. This week I stumbled upon a new pattern from Jennifer Wood. The name of the pattern is Kitra or Kaitra. I don't know how you pronounce it. It's a really beautiful sweater with cabling here on the sleeve and also here on the shoulders, and on the edging on the what's the word, the taille, your belly. I can't find the word in English. I can show you the pattern, and also you can find it in the show notes of this episode. This is really what I call a wow pattern. I like cabling, and I think it's made on a very beautiful way on the sweater. The last part of my podcast is about vintage patterns, and I will show you a vintage pattern where I'm really happy with. I found them last summer in a very big book market, second-hand book market in Deventer in Holland. In the Netherlands, east of the Netherlands, not in Holland. and it's what's the word? Periodic. No, tijdschrift. I can't find the word in English. There are many patterns in it. I have, I think, almost 20 of this. In Dutch the title is Praten en Breien, and you can translate it as talking and knitting, or to talk and to knit. I'm not sure what's the best translation. Here in front page there is one pattern, and there are more patterns in it, but I will show you also for children. And this one I really like. This one. It's from 1934. The most special about this magazine is that it's not only with knitting patterns, but there are also little stories in it. And for my Dutch watchers, it is the stories are from Joop ter Heul. Joop ter Heul was the main person in novels for growing girls, and the first novel was in 1919, and it was really popular in the Netherlands. Also when I myself was a girl. My mother has read all the novels, and I think my grandmother also. And here in this magazine, she talks a bit about her new adventures, and all the people who were in the novels are mentioned here in this knitting magazine. And the publisher was a wool factory, and they were making not real wool yarn that was made from cotton, and they called it everlasting. It was because you can wash it and wash it and wash it again, and it stayed just as it was. And that was really new at that time. During, I think, nearly 2 years, the writer of Joop ter Heul, her name was Sissy van Marksveld, she wrote in this magazine, but the publisher was not so glad with it, because only the first two magazines she wrote about knitting, but knitting was not really her interest. And then afterwards she only wrote about the persons in her novel. So then after I think 17 or 20 episodes of the magazine, the contract was broken between her and the publisher, and she never wrote in it again. This really was a great buy for me. I bought almost every magazine where Joop ter Heul has written in it, and I really love the patterns. I will show you another one here for a vest of a man's vest, and I really like it because there are color pictures in it. In every magazine there are the names of the designers, also the names of the ones who knitted the patterns. Yeah, I really love this this magazine. So maybe another time I will show you more of it. This really is a special pattern. Look at that color, and I love the buttons. So, I think this was all. Let me see if I did not forget something. Yeah, this was all. This was my the first episode of my podcast. I'm really happy with it. I hope you enjoyed watching. I will give links in the show notes, and I hope you will give me reactions. So, goodbye. Until the next time.